Hey guys, Sally here. I am the drone girl. I am here with Eric Thurber, who is a fantastic photographer local to where I live in San Francisco. Now, Eric, I found you because I was just browsing San Francisco Reddit, as one does when they live here, and I saw an amazing shot you did that was actually not a drone shot. It was a shot you did using a 360 cam of the Golden Gate Bridge. I saw that and was like, this is fantastic. Who is this guy? And I was thrilled to see that you are an amazing drone photographer.
Thank you.
So I would love for you to kind of talk about how long you've been in the field of photography, how you got into drones, and then at what point you picked up what I guess was an Osmo to shoot that amazing San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge shot.
Okay, well, sure. So, and also you may recall, or you may not recall, we had a little bit of an exchange, and I remember being impressed with your knowledge over the yacht race.
Oh, yes.
That was me. We were talking back and forth.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it is a small world.
Yeah, it's a small world. But you have a real grasp before we start of, and one of the reasons I agreed to do this is because you really have a good knowledge of what the rules are and the laws are, and I'm sure there's stuff you could even educate me on.
Well, thank you.
But I just so you know, I appreciated that. Yeah, there was some back and forth with the fire department saying drones can't fly there when technically they weren't right about that, but you had to be diplomatic with them. And so anyway, so we go back a little bit on that. But
Amazing.
And I've really been, I like your site because you point out all of this stuff, where people can fly and how, so anyway, I'm a fan of your stuff as well.
That's so nice.
So, and a little bit about me. I'm a retired IT guy, right? So, and then I've had the hobby of photography, and then getting into drone photography. So, my photography stuff goes back many, many years. I have a site called Eric's Media that shows all of my photography and just regular still shots. And then I got into taking drone photography. And then over the years, I got into taking drone video. And that's where I really never looked back, and I don't do a lot of photos anymore. So that's where I'm at. Now, the thing with the Osmo, that's a one-off. It's something I wanted to do with that camera. And I thought, well, it's a neat, because you can't fly over the bridge, right? A lot of people do. But you can't. Yeah.
But I'm glad you don't. And it's a great way to showcase the Golden Gate Bridge in an amazing visual format without breaking the law.
Right. And we can get into that. And to be honest with you, Sally, I could talk this stuff all day because I live in the regs, and half my days are filled out with, or spent filling out waiver requests and dealing with the city, dealing with Parks and Rec, all of that stuff. So, it's a grind, but it's turned into a second career because of the Instagram. I get work. I get a lot of work, and
Awesome.
More work than I can handle.
What kind of people are reaching out to you for work?
The NBA, so the Golden State Warriors have reached. You'll see some of my stuff either on their social feed or you'll see it on the Jumbotron. So, and I've done quite a bit of shooting for them. They reached out to me. They found me on Instagram. That's where it all comes from. Waymo, UCSF, several local commercials, stuff like that. So sometimes I'm out with film crews. Sometimes I'm out with doing one-offs or the whole thing. So it's turned into another career for me.
Amazing. What an amazing second career, and so many cool opportunities. I love Waymo. I love the Warriors.
Yeah. Who doesn't, right? We're all local.
Yes. And, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, how do I get a career as a drone photographer? So many people do this for fun, and it almost seems like you accidentally turned this into a career. Is it fair to say that building up a strong Instagram presence is sort of the secret?
Well, I would say it's the secret. And doing something a little bit different, right? Because some of the videos that I have millions of views, right? Depends on the video. But and then they go viral. Then you have to deal with the FAA, right? People are going to report you sometimes. Whatever. I've had to deal with that. But they all know me now. I'm very familiar with DHS and the police, who really don't have anything to do with drone, and the FAA and the local FSDO and all of that stuff. So, but yes, Instagram's where it's at. I let the work come to me. I really don't go out and hustle it.
Cool.
And but once you make a name for yourself, the work really starts coming in.
Yeah, that's the dream. Do you think there's a singular video or shot that you did that really got you going viral?
Well, okay. Yes, one that's gone now, by the way, because the FAA made me pull it. This was years ago, and I was flying from Yerba Buena Island, right over the top of the the Bay Bridge, Western Span, and I thought, this would be a neat shot. I saw it. To be honest, I saw it a week before on NBC because they were doing a game, and I saw one of their drone people do this, and I'm like, I'm going to do this too. And it turned out, man, that was wildly illegal. But this is back when I was new, and it got reported on, and but it did go viral. However, the FAA just said, well, pull that. They're in the business of educating you, not busting you. If you work with the FAA, and subsequently everything has just been shifted to, I get waivers now, and if I can't do it legally, I won't do it. That type of thing. So that was the one shot that first went viral. But, and people will say in Instagram, you need a shot to go viral. And while that's true, you need several of them, right? If you want to carry, it's one thing to have a one-off that did really well for you, and it'll get you 10, 20, 30,000 followers. But you need to be consistent. Right? So it's a grind. I'll say that. It's a lot of work to post like 3-4 times a week with quality content.
Yeah. But worth it if you're getting all that business is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to know, what are your favorite spots for flying in SF? And maybe we can separate them out from ones where you do need a waiver and ones where people could fly if they don't want to file a waiver, if they're just flying in Class G airspace.
Sure. So, and I have videos for some of this because I get so many of these questions on Instagram. In the back, right? My DMs are always, I can't answer them all the time, but I do my best. But so I put together some of these. My channel's nothing like yours is popular, but I got a few hundred subscribers or whatever. And it's really local. So just so you know, that's I think Thurber _shots is the YouTube channel. So I talk about these locations. But yes, I'm happy to go over several locations where you can fly legally, right? And what you can do and what you may or may not need. We mentioned Yerba Buena Island. This is a great location, right? Or Treasure Island, right? So either of those there. Of course, right there at the top, you have a no-fly zone around the, you got to be careful of that. DJI used to, right, as you probably know, it used to geofence. It no longer does it. So people can go zipping over that even when they shouldn't. That's what people do, is their own business. I would never, ever report anybody, by the way. That's not my thing. I don't care who it is, my worst enemy. I just don't do it. But if people want to hear what I have to say, I will remind them, there's reasons that we have geofencing around these areas, right? So if it's there and it's geofenced, I would just encourage people to stay away from it. There's certainly ways to get around, fly around those areas. So that's a great location, either on the island, Treasure Island, down there's the new park now. I have yet to see it. And then there's the top where people park up there. You can fly around that, just stay around the geofence. So I can keep going. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, I would love maybe like 2 or 3 other quick hit spots of good places in SF.
Yeah, there's a spot. Geez, I can think of the name of it. I have the name of my video, but Sausalito is a great spot. Let's put it this way.
Yes, love it.
If you want shots of the Golden Gate Bridge that are nice and legal, fly from Sausalito.
That's great.
You even down on the boardwalk. People, as long as you're transparent with them, they're usually really good about it. There's a lot of people walking. You can take off right from that boardwalk, go up, and keep it below 400 feet, your legal limit, right? And you get these shots of the Golden Gate Bridge that are wonderful. So
great tip.
Sausalito, it's legal. They have an ordinance you can't fly after dark in Sausalito. It's
interesting.
city,
Okay.
City ordinance. Yeah, these cops, I talked to all of them. So,
yes, and it's so hard to keep up with all the city ordinances because you're FAA certified, but it's hard to know sometimes what these individual city rules are. How do you keep track of them?
well, so okay, and we broached this in that conversation about the yacht race, and I was really glad you brought that up because what most pilots are going to do, they're going to just open up the AirAware app, and they're going to look for a TFR. Is there a TFR? Most responsible pilots. If there's a TFR, flat out, unless you have a waiver, don't do it. DHS is on hand. I have a relationship with DHS, so before I fly any big event or whatever, I reach out to them. I have a contact. I'm like, hey, they whitelist my drone and I can go.
Okay.
So, but if there's a TFR, even with DHS, it doesn't matter. You don't do it, right? So that's how we navigate that. We're looking for that. The other thing, as you mentioned, are parks. These parks are not necessarily labeled on those. So you have to be careful. So I want to use that example of the yacht race because I wasn't at the park, but I was near the park, right, the Palace of Fine Arts. That's the city. You have to have wet permits to fly in the park. But if you take off now, across the street, down the block, go
Amazing.
up, you can fly over. That you are now in the jurisdiction of the FAA and not the parks.
Very interested.
They dictate where you take off and land from. They can say you cannot do that, and legally you cannot. But if you fly outside and then I use good judgment. I don't just fly right. I'm not blatant about it. So, but you're right. There's nuances, right? The parks, legally speaking, you have to get permission from SF Parks and Rec.
As far as building up these relationships with all these different organizations, because it's SF Parks and Rec and then it's DHS and all of these things, is that just something that comes with time and you've done this enough? Or do you have any advice for other drone pilots who want to be able to have this access that you have?
Well, right. So yes, it's taken time to build those relationships and they're necessary for commercial work, right? It's one thing now, if you're just you and you're going out and you're flying your drone around a park and you're not really breaking, like, okay, yeah, you fly over it or back. Really, nobody cares. The FAA is going to be like, are they really breaking rules? Are you flying right over the Golden Gate Bridge down? That's a rule breaker, man. So, but if you're around the park, GGNRA, and you're zipping in and out of stuff, I don't think they care, to be honest with you. But that said, if you're doing commercial work, you absolutely have to be legal. And yeah, working with the city of San Francisco, I got to tell you, is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. In fact, I have yet personally to get a permit approved from them because their requirements are absolutely stringent and unrealistic.
Interesting. More so, I know you've shot in Stockton and other cities kind of nearby, and San Francisco more so is much more strict than these other cities.
Well, it's strict in the sense if you're going to do commercial work. So a lot of the time, they'll keep in mind like Sky Elements drones, right? You may be familiar with them.
Drone show company. They're awesome.
Yeah. So, and for a couple of years, I've been shooting for them. They contract me to come out and shoot. Next week, for example, I'll be down, at the Ferry Building, shooting for them, shooting it because they contract me to shoot the shows, and then you never see that on my feed because they own it, right? They're hiring me and they own the footage.
Yeah.
But I'm just there filming the drone show, and they use me a lot in the Bay Area. So they have my drones on file. They get all the permits. They get everything. Everything's on the up and up when I'm filming that way. If it's just me, and I wanted to do outside lands, for example, getting the permit through the city, it didn't happen. I couldn't get it.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask you about some of the challenges of flying in this airspace, and it sounds like that is it.
Well, but only if you're doing commercial.
Okay.
I didn't have to get that permit technically because I'm not, I'm just flying for me, and I might share it, I might not, but I'm not making money.
Right.
Technically, yeah, you could just be, just have you don't even need your Part 107 as long as you have your trust.
Yeah.
But the city, I just want to point out they're very, like I carry $2 million drone insurance, right? And I use Skywatch AI, and I know you've mentioned them.
Yes.
And I have whole coverage. I have the whole thing. But the city still says to them, and Skywatch will not underwrite it. The city says you have to also guarantee coverage for every person that drone flies over from our city government.
Yeah.
And they won't do it. So anyway, I'm not going to drag you down into the weeds with this stuff, but
interesting. Yeah. Good luck, people out there. Now,
only if you're doing commercial work.
Yeah. So you really caught my attention with that shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, which was not shot on a drone. I believe it was shot with an Osmo.
Yes.
Could you talk about ways that someone who's a really creative photographer like you can capture things like the Golden Gate Bridge without using a drone? I know so many people get hung up on, I want to photograph X thing and I can't. Where does that creativity come into play?
Well, okay, so for me, I just get ideas, right? There's a lot of people locally who do the same shots, you'll notice. And I was in that group. They're all chasing the same dozen or so shots. And how can you do it differently? And we're all, and I just broke out of that because I wanted to do something. I just quit looking at that and I start looking at people in other cities. That's where I get my ideas. And then some are my own. The 360, and I hesitate to mention DJI because I get a lot of offers for sponsorships. And to be honest with you, I turn almost all of them down, 99.9%, because that's just not what I want to do. But the 360 camera, regardless of who it is that makes it, I took a suction cup and just stuck it to the roof of my car. And I thought this would be a good way to go. Because do you use a 360 camera?
No, I have not actually.
The beauty of
You're making me want one.
The beauty of it, no matter who makes them, they're all comparable, right? Is that in post, it's what you can do in post that matters.
Interesting.
You're just taking that shot, you're just sticking it on the car. You don't have to think about composition or any of it because it's capturing everything. So in post, I can then turn it and do whatever I want and just only get those pieces that I want. So that was my goal with that. And I've got some stuff around the Palace of Fine Arts I haven't shared yet, but I might do stories or something. But
you will have to share those. Amazing.
Yeah.
So I have so many pilots who want to get a career in drones. They do this for fun. And you've mentioned, in SF, it's relatively easy to fly for hobbyist purposes, much harder to fly for commercial purposes. What kind of advice do you have for someone breaking into the drone photography career for the first time?
Well, it's difficult. It really depends on what you want to do. I hate to use myself as an example because I had to have a lot of viral videos and then people came to me. I wasn't even necessarily looking. There are great opportunities though out there for people who want to get into real estate, as you probably know, that kind of thing. I would say the biggest thing you could do is stay consistent. Like if you're posting on social, be consistent, because if you take long breaks, it's going to cost you, right? You'll lose likes and that kind of thing, and kind of make a name for yourself. There's several photographers around who have done that. And videos really make a difference. So if you're shooting photos, you are really going to be stuck in a pack that's already really saturated.
Interesting.
If you're doing videos, you're breaking out of that pack a little bit. But I've noticed a lot of photographers aren't interested in just doing video, right? So it's a catch-22.
Yeah,
but consistency, I would say consistency is the best thing.
Yes. Do you even think it's wise to specialize? I mean, I hear so much in the drone space where people even say, don't do artistic photography, specialize in construction or specialize in oil and gas. But even within the field of artistic photography, does it make sense to specialize in something like just real estate or just cruise ships or just drone light shows?
Well, right. So what you're speaking to is a niche, and definitely everybody needs to have their own. For me, I consider a lot of what I did that led up to this fine art video, if you will, right? Romanticizing traffic, romanticizing the city. And these are topics that people like to talk about too. So it further, and I just let everybody comment. I don't limit anybody. I don't care what they say, or that's their business. Whether they like what I post or not, that's fine. But so I let everything go on that, and all it's going to do is increase your engagement.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have an all-time favorite video that you've shot?
Well, some of my favorite videos that I've shot would be, fog videos. I love fog. Right?
San Francisco loves fog.
Time lapse of fog. So the hyperlapses are what really launched me, to be honest, Sally. Those are the ones that really took off, right? And they're hard to do. Not a lot of people can do them with the effort that goes into it, right?
Is there a trick to making a great time lapse?
Yeah, it's involved, and I put up a video on it because I get so many questions.
We'll share that.
Yeah, but essentially, the long and short of it is I could try and sum it up. So in a period of 5 to 15 minutes, you're going to take a series of 200 to 300 shots at 1 or 2 to 3 second intervals, 1 to 3. And then you're going to put them all together in Lightroom, process them. Then they're going to go out to your video editor, and then they got it. There's a whole thing that has to happen for the way I do them, because the way I do them, I want like superb quality. You can take it right out of the drone, though. You can shoot a hyperlapse and take it out of the drone and post it. Mm-hmm. That's up to you. But if you want the stuff to look the way I post it, you have to go through all of those other steps. It's
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I love my San Francisco fog, though, so that's great.
Yeah.
The people want to know, what is your top piece of equipment these days?
Lately, so I have two Mavic 4 Pros. Okay. Right here. In fact, I'll even show you, because today is my day of I got just some equipment shot there. So everything's getting charged and updated right now.
Amazing.
But I have a pair of Mavic 4 Pros. I have a Mavic 3 Pro Cine. I have a...
Did I see a Neo in there?
Yeah. Not a Neo, but I have the FPV, the Avata.
Oh, that's an Avata. Okay. That's an Avata. Yeah. Nice.
And then you see my parachute. Maybe over there, that's the one sticking up with the sticker.
Yes.
And then, and then all of my other video equipment that I use for video jobs and photography and stuff like that.
Amazing. So okay, wow. So tons of drones for you. Do you prefer flying with the Avata versus the Mavic, or just drone for the job?
Yeah, it just depends on the job. I rarely fly the Avata. So the FPV people, and I work with them, some of them are professionals. They're a whole different breed of pilots. They're very, very good at what they do. Yes. And it takes years to learn it. It's not like just picking up your satellite drone and going up and flying around. It's all very manual. So I don't do a lot with that. Most of what I do is just the stuff around the city or whatever I'm commissioned to do. And I'll do those on my Mavics. Okay. The Mavic 3 Pro has the parachute and the prop guard and all of my waivers tied to it. So most of the time I'm using that for professional work that I'm doing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Last question, any dream spots that you would fly a drone at?
Well, I hit them, to be honest with you. So
I love that. Achieve your dreams.
Yeah, and I work for them. So what happens a lot of the time, I love bridges, not just the Golden Gate, right? The Bay Bridge. Some of my biggest posts are of Vallejo, the bridge in Vallejo. Yeah. The bridge out in Pittsburgh. So these are my shots. I love compression. So I'm almost always on the 6X cam on the Mavic 4 or the 7X on the Mavic 3 Pro.
Cool.
I go out and get them, and I will often hit the same spot 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5 times, before I get something I'm happy with.
Wow. A true perfectionist you are.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any last parting words, advice, where people can find you?
Yeah, so they can find me at, just like you say, Instagram is my main. I got like 14,000 followers or something on TikTok, same name.
Amazing.
But
And that's Thurber_shots.
yeah, and the same for YouTube. I just have a few hundred, but that's all I'm doing there is just sharing videos because people ask these questions so many times that I put videos together on them.
Amazing. So. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. You can follow Eric Thurber. Amazing inspiration from him. Thank you so much for joining us and happy flying.
Okay, thanks, Sally.
Yay! Okay, that is it. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording.